right, here we go. And you're live.
I like that Kyle's already in the comments, running his mouth.
He's a dirtbag with zero class. Nothing to expect less from him.
All right, so what's going on, guys? Give it a second to get this going because it's a little bit on delay, so I want to be able to see the comments on my side and whatnot. I'm glad to see Kyle's listening from the car to see if I choke. Don't think I'll be choking, but we'll see what happens as far as the results go. But yeah, I'll just get right into it, and we'll just start with the first game on the board, Rockies at Cardinals. We saw yesterday, I was on the Rockies team total yesterday at 2.5, and it didn't really matter. The Cardinals kind of continued their dominating ways, another 5-1 victory. I just really like the Rockies to score some runs yesterday at 2.5, but I think it's 3 of the last 4 times I've played that 2.5 team total. It's got me. So definitely something to keep in mind. But Cardinals, who do they have on the mound? Adam Wainwright. He's the guy that I trust. He's the type of guy that not only when he pitches at home, he pitches well. The team seems to win and score for him. So I'm playing the Cardinals -1.5 at -110 for just a half a unit. I don't love the fact that Wainwright is coming off a 9-inning game, but I did go back and take a look and see when's the last time he pitched 9 innings, and then his start after that. And he pitched 9 innings against Philly in a loss. And then he came back and played the Dodgers the next night and went 5 1/3 and didn't give up a run. So I think he should be just fine. And then as far as the Rockies and whatnot, I would wish like hell I could take a stab with the Rockies here at a big plus price, or maybe +1.5. But Sensatella is not somebody I can get behind in any sort of way. And then if you can actually kind of get lost if you take a look at his first couple game logs against St. Louis, it's actually pretty well. But the one start in the last 3 years that he's had in St. Louis, he didn't make it out of the first inning. So again, different circumstances, but still, Cardinals are the type of team I like to play and ride. So that's where we're going to go there. So next game up is going to be the Athletics and the Rangers. And we have Beaver's boy, Dane Dunning, at home, coming off a no decision where they ended up losing against Seattle. But again, Seattle was rolling at the time. Before that, he blanked the White Sox at home. Just much better at home. I'm not going to make a point and say that he's, like a must play or whatnot, but coming off of 2 losses, not to mention the fact that Oakland is a team that I can't get behind in any sort of way. I think the fact that they've won the last 2 games in a row is kind of surprising, but the pitching for Texas hasn't been there. I think that when they're in the game and they're in the game are engaged, it's a little bit different. And then if you take a look at Zach Logue's numbers, he faced Texas earlier this year, only went 2 1/3 innings and got lit up for 4 runs. He just got lit up by Houston. Not horrible numbers against Texas and Detroit and Houston, but Seattle hit him up for 7 as well. I just think the Rangers at home coming off of 2 losses is a play. It's only going to be a half a unit, but I'm going to play the Rangers again, are just like I played the Cardinals, -1.5 at +110 for a half a unit. And then just to give myself a little bit of an out, I'm also going to play the Rangers and the Cardinals in a money line parlay for a half a unit at +115 as well. That way, if that hits and one of these teams lose, it comes back a little bit. That's +115, Beef.
Okay.
But yeah, not a lot. I'm not going to be putting a lot of money on these games and whatnot, but I do think there's a tiny little bit of value there. So a couple of half-unit plays aren't going to kill anybody. The next game is going to be really fun. It's Astros and White Sox. I think that we've all been privy to watching the last couple games between these two teams. The Verlander Cease matchup was really fun. And last night, last night was fun as well. It's one of those things when these teams get together. I never worry about the Astros. They've been there, they've done that. So I always like to see what teams do and when they play the Astros, if they do anything different with their lineup and whatnot. I can tell you right now, looking as an outside observer, that I think there's something wrong with Luis Robert. If he's not on the IL and he's not playing against the Astros, then what is he doing? I just think that's extremely, extremely weird. But again, let's just take a look at who's pitching in these games. First, you got Giolito. And we already know that Gio at home is not something that I can really get behind. Over his last couple starts, he got 4 runs against Detroit, still gave up 2 runs against Kansas City. Cleveland hit him up for 6. Detroit hit him up for 5. It's kind of hard to make a case for Giolito at home. It's been a little bit different. And then he faced Houston earlier this year in Houston, went 5 innings and gave up 8 runs. Before that, I will say he had fantastic numbers against Houston. And the only reason I know that is because we were all on Giolito in Houston when we took that big fat L. If you flip it over to the other side, Luis Garcia, I mean, he's a stud. I mean, me and Beaver were just talking about this before the show. I mean, he's a stud, but at no point do you really look at like Luis Garcia and be like, oh yeah, he's going to go shut these guys down. I mean, if it may be some lower competition, but he just seems to give up runs. His last 4 starts, he's given up 4 runs or more, or 4 runs in 3 of the last 4. And the only one that he didn't give up 3 runs was against Boston at home. So, and it's not like Boston was killing the ball at the time a couple weeks ago. So he does have one start in his career against the White Sox. It was 7 innings. He only gave up 1 run. And if you take a look at what the White Sox in their history against him, none of them really have that great numbers. Yasmani Grandal is 1 for 3 with a homer, and that's essentially it. If you take a look at the Astros lineup, there's multiple guys with 1 OPSs against Giolito. I'm playing this game over. I'm going to play over 8.5 at plus 100 for a half a unit. And then I'm also going to play the Astros on the money line for 0.75 units at minus 125. As far as the Astros money line goes, I play the Astros and I play the Dodgers. That's just what I do. And guess what? They win a lot of baseball games, guys. So a team like the Dodgers, like that didn't cover the run line last night, like that doesn't even faze me for a second. Because I know that they're going to continue to win games this year. Going back really quickly to the Houston Bats that have 1 OPS is Altuve, 1032 OPS, Mancini, a 919 OPS, Bregman, 922 OPS. So again, 762 OPS total as a team. I mean, even Gurriel's at an 812, so on a couple doubles against him. So I think we see some runs here tonight. If you take a look at our friends over at Ballpark Pal, like a 15 or 17% increase in home runs today. Guaranteed rate field just breathes runs. And the fact that we've had 2 lower scoring games in this series already makes me think that we might see even more runs today. Dodgers and Brewers are next. I just talked about the Dodgers. You already know what it is. Dodgers money line. I mean, I don't give a damn if Corbin Burns is on the hill, and I don't really give a damn. And you can make that for 0.75 units, Beaver. And then you can go Dodgers minus 1.5 for plus 155 for a half a unit as well. Is Corbin Burns one of the best pitchers in the league? Yeah. Is he been lights out unhittable? I mean, not lights out unhittable. I mean, St. Louis and Cincinnati, 13 innings, 2 runs. That's pretty good. Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Colorado. I mean, they all got a couple runs off of him. And then let's just take a look at the Brewers. They can't hit left-handed hitting. And then if you take a look at what Andrew Heaney's been doing, he's been nothing but fantastic for the Dodgers. Absolutely fantastic. He's coming off a start against the Royals where he gave up 2 runs in 3 innings. And that right there, I'll stop myself, is the issue with Heaney, is that he's not going to go very long in the game. But I think the Dodgers, I know that Devin Williams is available, but I still think those bullpens are a wash. I still don't trust the Milwaukee bullpen, even with Devin Williams. But again, Haney's not giving up runs, guys. Padres, Giants, Nationals, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Minnesota, all those guys, 2 runs or less, most of them 1 run or less. He's just been absolutely dealing. the Brewers don't hit left-handed hitting to save or pitching to save their life. Again, I will continue to play the Dodgers until they lose 2 games in a row. So, again, at this cheap of a price, I do not care if it's Corbin Burns on the mound or Randy Johnson. I'm going to continue to play the Dodgers. Teams like the Dodgers and the Astros that have continued to make money for me year after year after year. Play the Dodgers until they lose 2 games in a row. All right, next game up is the Orioles and the Cubs. I don't know if I don't see a buzzing sound. I'm not sure. So
I don't hear it either, Toast, so we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. All right. No. So I just got to admit, I felt pretty stupid not playing on the Orioles continually in Toronto. I understand that the Toronto actually finally got hot yesterday, but those numbers and those prices, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't understand how a team like Toronto continues to play like that, especially at home. But here we are today, and honestly, guys, I'm all over the Orioles today. I'm going to go on their money line minus 136 for a full unit. Look, they're at home. The Orioles are a definite play-on team for me. Since the All-Star break, are a little bit, maybe even a little bit before that, their last 24 games at home, they're 18-6. Not to mention the fact that we got my dude Spencer Watkins on the mound, who I've been playing for a while now. And listen, he's coming off a start against Pittsburgh where he gave up 4 runs. But before that, and the Rays got him for 3. But before that, Texas, the Cubs, Texas again, Minnesota, the White Sox, all 1 run or less, guys. I mean, Spencer Watkins is absolutely dealing. If you flip it over and to look at excuse me, take a look at Adrian Sampson. I mean, look, it's not horrible at all. But I just watched the Cubs struggle against the Nationals. Just generally speaking, I understand that they won 2 out of 3 games, but they struggled in those games. It really wasn't. I mean, I ended up watching a couple of them because they were early and we had bets on them. But at no point, I mean, matter of fact, yesterday I had the Cubs first 5 on the run line, and I was assuming that was a loss. I think in the 4th or the 5th, they hit either one. They hit a 2-run shot. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-run shot, and finally cashed our ticket for us. But then they ended up giving it our tie in the game, and then they ended up winning in extras the night before that. So has Adrian Sampson been serviceable? Yeah, there's absolutely no question about that. But I have the starting pitching advantage, I have a bats advantage, I have a bullpen advantage, and Orioles at home is a freaking absolute play on for me until they give us any reason not to think that way. So I'm all over the Orioles here today. I can't say anything else about them. I mean, honestly, the Cubs are going down. The Orioles are trending upwards. I mean, think about that, guys. I mean, the Yankees and the Blue Jays are going to play today. So one of those teams is going to lose. So the more wins that Baltimore can stack up for that division is always going to be better. So you have to take advantages of games like these against the Cubs. Giants and D-backs. Is that what you got next, Beaver? Dope. All right. This is actually kind of simple for me, guys. Logan Webb at home at a cheap price. I'm all over it. Giants on the money line, minus 145 for another full unit. Has Zach Gallen been pitching really well? Yes, absolutely. I bet you Beaver is behind the scenes right now cringing at this play. He might be nice to me and say he'd only play him in the first 5, but if you just take a look at what Logan Webb has done over the last couple of years, or let's just go that he's 8-3 his last 11 with a 2.71 ERA. Even though I don't really like the ERA stat, at least it gives you an idea. Look, not to mention the fact that Arizona batting 249 as a team, slugging 474. I mean, it's just not good right now. The Giants lost in extras last night. I will say it's been kind of the Giants winning in extra innings or in late games with walk-offs and whatnot the last couple of nights does have me a little bit scared. But the fact that they lost last night, Duvall, as much as he's been shaky at times, Duvall is in the line. It should be ready to go in that bullpen. And then not to mention Zach Gallen's career against the Giants, not good. He's 1-4 with an ERA that's like close to 5. If this game was in Arizona, maybe it's a different story. I'm usually all over the Giants when Webb pitches. There was a brief time earlier this year when the Giants weren't playing well that maybe I could get off the Giants and maybe get on the D-backs here, but I'm not doing it. And then also just really quickly, series history and whatnot. Arizona, in their they are 6-21. Their last 27 games in San Francisco. So anything under -150, I got to play all over the Giants today. If you wanted to sprinkle -1.5, I wouldn't hate it, but I'm definitely not doing that myself. All right, here we go. Blue Jays and Yankees, and the mother flipping Yankees done walked it off calling grandma last night for us. Holy cow. Man, I did not expect that at all. If you living under a rock, Yankees gave up 3 runs in extras and then came and then walked it off with a Josh Donaldson opposite way grand slam. So now they here they have the Blue Jays, who I just talked about and how bad they've been lately. And they're coming in here and they face Frankie Montas, who hasn't been that good as well. Look, I know this is probably going to sound stupid because I just said how bad they were, but I'm on Toronto. I'm on Toronto at plus whatever the number is right now, Beaver, whatever the number is right now, plus 130 or 125. I'm good with that too. Don't even retype it. Okay. Just for a half a unit. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I am back on board with the Yankees. Will I admit that a walk-off grand slam is probably or could be a spark? Yep, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be laying -150 to find out if that match has been lit to that spark. Has Berrios been kind of awful? Yeah, but at the same time, he doesn't have horrible history against the Yankees. I mean, some of them were kind of bad, but I do think that he's better than what he's shown. He's been lit up his last couple starts. So let's just play just a very quickly devil's advocate. If he just pitched decent in those games, would we be getting the Blue Jays at plus 130 today? Probably not. Probably like that plus 110 near maybe a pick'em game, I would assume, if he was pitching well. He's not. So we're getting at this big plus price, but I'm willing to take it. I still feel like I have a bullpen advantage. Regardless of what the Blue Jays bats are doing, I still think that's at least a wash. At minimum, it's a wash. And I would think that the Blue Jays could go off in that little stadium because the Yankees have been playing in that stadium. Obviously, that's their home stadium, but I'm just saying, like, they're not hitting home runs right now. So the last point is this, and I've used this a couple times this year. When you have a team that plays bad at home, I loved it with Boston earlier this year. I loved it with Philadelphia earlier this year. When you have a team that plays bad at home and then goes on to the road, I actually think that that's a play-on spot. I think that getting out of Toronto, getting into New York, their backs against the wall, it's them against the world. I'll take my shot with the Blue Jays here, and there's no question about that. I actually kind of like the spot for them. So as long as Berrios doesn't get absolutely shelled, which I don't see the Yankees just, again, coming out and shelling somebody, but it's possible. But again, I'm got to take the plus money here today. Regardless of how you feel about Berrios or anything like that, I understand Holiday. Yeah, he is hard to trust. You're absolutely right. But like I said, this is getting down to the part where teams are going to be fighting for playoffs. So I do think, I know that they have a rested bullpen. So any sign of trouble, he's going to be out of the game. I don't think that they're just going to leave him in there to get shelled. So they've got plenty of arms. This is a very important series for them. So I got to take the plus money. It's a price thing more than anything. It's an absolute price thing. If I was getting the Yankees at -110, maybe they'd be a play. Maybe, probably not. But anyway, next game. Red Sox and the Pirates. it's kind of hard to make a case for the Pirates. I would love to go sharp right here and somehow take the Pirates in any way, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So I'm going to pair them. I'm sorry. I'm going to pair Boston with the other another big favorite in the Padres for a half a unit at plus 110 in a money line parlay. And then I'm going to take one more stab at the Red Sox minus 1.5 at plus 110. As Sauce always says, and I think Steven Harrison always says, when JT Brubaker is on the mound, you just fade him. I've been all over Boston the last couple of days. They've been making me some good money. And here we are again. Winkowski's been fucking pretty damn good. Sorry about that. Pretty damn good for them lately. And I just think that Boston's playing really well right now. I think they're kind of playing with house money. I think that they know that their backs are against the wall too. I mean, you and I both know that they probably aren't going to make the playoffs, but they don't know that and they don't think like that. So I think that you're getting a team that not only is playing well right now, but I think that you're getting a decent price too, because Brubaker hasn't looked horrible. I mean, as much as we want to talk shit about him, I mean, it's not like he's an absolute gas can out there. He's multiple times this year, he's pitched well and lost. So again, this isn't this isn't a shitting on JT Brubaker. It's just a team that he plays for, the bullpen that he has behind him, all that stuff like that. It's just really hard to get wins when you pitch like that, even though you pitch like that. So all over Boston here today. It's kind of hard not to like them. But yeah. Tampa Bay and KC. Man, the Rays, man, this game actually has me. It wasn't easy for me. And the only reason I say that is Keller's been bad, yeah, but I just don't really like the spot for the Rays after playing the Yankees 3 times in, again, like the Red Sox. I know the Rays are out of the playoffs, but they're one of these teams. I saw a stat yesterday. They're like they win like 75 or something like that % of their games here in the month of August, which is just kind of weird. I don't really put a lot of stock into that, but I just think it's funny. Just shows you how good of a team they've been the last couple of years. Luis Patino on the mound for them. Solid. He's going to give you 4 innings and give up a couple runs. That's just kind of plain and simple. It's his game logs are all eerily similar. So nothing really to go into there. He's another, again, it's Tampa Bay committee by arms. He's going to go 4, and then you're just going to get whoever's available and fresh. Yeah, exactly. Axon Jackson next game. Whoever's available and fresh. As far as Keller goes, lit up against the Dodgers, pitched well against Boston, lit up against the White Sox. I mean, Angels and the Rays earlier this year, 3 and 4 runs. Yeah, I think the Rays win this game. I'm going to play the Rays minus 1.5 at plus 105 for just a half a unit. Keller's been absolute horrible. Again, don't love the spot for the Rays. So just going to take a half unit stab with them on the run line since it's at plus money. Again, just because they just got done playing the Yankees, it's just not, and then they have to fly home. They're playing a Royals team that's been decent. I understand that they didn't look good against it's plus 105 Beaver. I understand they didn't look good against Minnesota, but trust me, I would love to take the Royals here. If there was almost any other pitcher besides Keller on the mound, I'd probably be looking at the Royals, but he's just been so god awful. I have to take a little bit of a stab on the Rays, but again, it's nothing that I really love. So next game up. That comment was funny by Mike Smith. Touche, Mike. Touche. So, what are we doing here? They're going to give us the Mets with DeGrom on the mound and Diaz available at minus 125. Mets money line for a full unit. Mets first 5. Money line at minus 135 for another full unit. That's like my favorite play of the day, guys. I mean, I don't even have to go into like what and how good Jacob deGrom's been. I mean, he's been absolutely fantastic since coming off of injury. If you really want the numbers, here they are. 6 innings, no runs against Philly. 5 2/3, 2 runs, 12 strikeouts against Atlanta. At Washington, he went 5 innings and gave up 1 run. Those are the 3 starts that he's been back. In Atlanta, Max Fried on the mound for them, and Max Fried's been really good. I can't not sit here and say that Max Fried is pitching bad or whatnot, but he did just see the Mets on 8-6 and took a loss there, gave up 4 runs. He's lost to the Mets 3 of his last 4 starts. 3 of them have been in New York, but the one that he did have in Atlanta, he went 5 innings and gave up 2 runs in a loss. So, look, you cannot pass the Mets up at this price. Like, I can't do it. Like, if it's a trap, so be it. But I don't think it's a trap. I think that a lot of people are going to want to bet Atlanta. A lot of people are going to see them at home off a loss and whatnot. But what I see is if I can get DeGrom for hopefully 6 or 7, I only need to piece together 1 more inning, and then I'm going to have Diaz on the back end. I understand he pitched yesterday, but he was less than 10 pitches. I know that. I love this Mets team. I love betting this Mets team. I love watching this Mets team. I love talking to Beaver about this Mets team. I'm all in on the Mets here today, just like I have been for a while, guys. So that's it for that one. It's really simple for me. Padres, Nationals. I actually kind of liked Beaver's play, like a double result for something. I'm actually just completely priced out of this game, guys. Like, I really don't want to do anything with this game as far as like the money line and the run line. Even Hugh Darvish to record a win is -160. It's really, really hard to find value in this game. So if you wanted to do a team total with the Padres, like, I could maybe see that just because we know how bad Anibal Sanchez has been. But I don't really love the spot for the Padres. They didn't really look good in Miami. And now they got to fly across country and coming home. Do I think the Padres win? Yeah, like I'm not trying to go wishy-washy like I'm deciding to take Washington or anything like that. That's not where I'm at. But at -400, it's really hard to find value on something like that. Like the capper in me makes me just want to take Washington at that number. I'm not going to do it. So just use San Diego in a parlay piece. Like I said, I use San Diego with a couple teams today. For the purpose of this video, Beaver, let's just go Padres Mets moneyline parlay at +131 for another half a unit. That way we get a team that I think is going to win at a very good, cheap price. And then we have a team that's overpriced but should win pretty easy. And you put them together, and it's a nice little plus price. Is it 130? Is it -131, Beaver? No, it's +131. You're screwing me. You're screwing me, Beaver. It's all good. I get it. So, I'll go through. So that's all the games for today. It's a really short slate today. But I did want to go through just some guys that have good matchups today, just in general. I'm going to keep all my player props and stuff like that for the VIP account since it is a short day. I don't want to give everything out here today. But a couple guys to look for in that San Diego game. If you wanted to do like a same game parlay with Manny Machado getting a hit in a Padres money line, something like that. Manny Machado against Sanchez, 8 for 17 with 4 dingers and a 1.762 OPS and 19 plate appearances. Machado is absolutely raking against this dude. Benintendi, another guy to look for to maybe get a couple hits tonight, or at least a hit tonight if you're looking at hit parlays. Benintendi against Berrios in his career, even though he's been struggling with the Yankees, I will say that. 9 for 21 with a couple doubles, a home run, a triple. He's done it all against Berrios with a 1.262 OPS. Charlie Blackmon against Adam Wainwright's got a 1.197 OPS. Tyler O'Neill, that's the guy that I need to see if he is in the Cardinals lineup today, because I went to go do a Goldschmidt O'Neill hit parlay because they both had really good numbers against Sensatella Goldschmidt's and also he's a 1185 OPS guy, but O'Neill wasn't listed. So actually, let me check right now to see if those lineups have been posted yet, because I do want to see if O'Neill is in the lineup, because if it is in the lineup, definitely want to target him and Goldschmidt together. And he is in the lineup. So yeah, anything like that with those two type of guys, definitely want to. Let's see here. I know a couple people wanted me to, the couple DMs I had wanted me to go down the list, so I'm going to do it. Alonso, Polar Bear, very good numbers off of Max Fried. He's 8 for 27 with 2 dingers, 7 RBIs. I've been doing a lot of Lindor, Polar Bear hit props, Lindor to score a run, Lindor over 1.5 total bases, Polar Bear to record an RBI. Lindor and Alonso are doing absolute damage for that Mets team, guys. I mean, I'm literally playing one of those two guys on an absolute daily basis at plus money 1 or 2 times. So it's pretty easy to find value when you're going when you're playing with a team like the Mets, when they have 2 guys like that, they're just rolling right now. And they continue to give you good money. I mean, like the Lindor props. I mean, yesterday it was only plus 110, but the last few days, for the last 5 days, it was like plus 130. So the Giants, Yastrzemski, that's another one against Gallen. Pretty damn good numbers against Gallen himself. He's 7 for 18 with 3 doubles against him. So Yaz total base prop with the Giants wouldn't be that bad either. So that's it for me today, guys. It was a short slate. This is my first time doing it by myself. Questions, comments, or concerns, you guys know I'm always available for DM. Any tips, like you wish I would talk about this or that matchup or whatever, let me know too. I'm definitely open to getting better. We do this for you guys. So anything that I can do to make it better for you guys, just let me know. I'll be around. I will have hit parlays and stuff like that on VIP. Absolutely, no question about it. So I will be here tomorrow. Let's just take a look really quickly at the games tomorrow and see what time they are. Fridays are usually during the day. Yeah. So Fridays, there's a 9 a.m. game with the Cardinals and the Rockies. But besides that, with the 10 a.m. game with the Brewers and the Cubs. But besides that, everything's at 3 p.m. So that's at 7 p.m. Eastern. So let's just do it at what time do we usually do it, Deaver? Like 4 p.m. Eastern? So, yeah, let's do it like around 4 p.m. Eastern is when we'll do it. So, that's it for me. I will talk to you guys then.
All right. 1 second, Toasty.
You're all good, Beaver. I ended up hearing the buzzing a little bit, but I don't know where it comes from.
I mean, I thought it was me, so I turned my thing off like that. I turned